Unfortunately, my father passed away when my mom was 6 months pregnant with me, so I never got to meet my father. It almost destroyed my career before it started. So in 2022, I was arrested. Delivering big screens, I just saw a gun in my face. 2020 was wild. It was December and I was kidnapped. I did not have money to register. The registration was 2.5 and we didn't have it at home. I missed the bus and I attempted walking to school. That's how much I wanted this. That's how hungry I was for education. Sawubona, ni hao, bonjour. Welcome to The Right Space with Teacher Neo. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you are new here, welcome to the family. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you a million times. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate the love and the humility. I am because you are. Continue to show the love, to like, share, and comment. On this channel, I share animated stories based on real life experiences. The stories are fun, educational, and packed with humor. We also have Did You Know's videos with some fun facts, teaching and living abroad content, including demo lessons, sit-down videos, and vlogs. From the title of this video, I am sure you realized that today we are launching, now we are launching a new series called Teachers Podcast. On this podcast, I'll be inviting teachers all over the world to come and share their teaching journeys with us. Whether they are teaching in their home countries, online, or abroad, we want to hear it all. These interviews will happen virtually since we are all spread across the globe. Remember, distance can never stop us from learning. So, if you are a teacher, whether new in the field or a veteran and you'd like to join the conversation, please reach out. And please, if we come to you, please kindly say yes. But first, I'd like to break the ice by sharing my personal story. They do say that we should lead by example, right? So, I am your host. Normally, I will be bringing teachers from all over the world and they will be telling their own personal stories. But today, I'm the one who's on the hot seat and we will be looking at a few questions that I have prepared. And just like that, I'll just be unpacking all about myself, where I'm from, where I am right now, and maybe where I am going. So let's get to it. Question number 1. Neo, who are you and where did you grow up? I am 27 years old. I was born and bred in Alexandra Township and I later moved to Pretoria, Soshanguve. I was raised by my grandmother and my single mom. Unfortunately, my father passed away when my mom was 6 months pregnant with me, so I never got to meet my father, but I have a very beautiful relationship with my paternal family, my grandmother, my aunts, and my uncles. So yeah, that's me. That's that's basically me. Yeah, but I think that not having my dad around actually pushed me to being so ambitious and independent. I did fill the gap, but somehow I do feel like it made me the person that I am. And I had a very normal childhood, growing up kokasi in the township, not having much but also not lacking much. I've learned to appreciate now those days, because I just feel like it does not matter what you eat or what you drink as long as you don't go to bed hungry. So yeah, I am from a trying family. I don't want to use the P word, because as I've grown now, I've just come to realize that I've actually been blessed to have what I had at that time. It was not much. I went to public schools all my life. My mom was unemployed for most of the time, but yeah, I am grateful, and that's where I am from. I hold a bachelor's degree in education, specializing in computer applications, technology, mathematical literacy, and life orientation. I'm currently living and teaching English as a second language in South Korea. Question number 2. So when did you realize you wanted to be a teacher? Funny enough, guys, I've never thought of myself being a teacher, but I've always wanted to be a social worker. When I was young, when they asked you, when they're asking you guys, so what do you want to be? I'll be like, when I grow up, I want to be a social worker. And then when I got to high school, I then learned about psychology, and then I changed. I was like, oh, I actually want to be a psychologist. Right? But in high school, one of my teachers actually advised me to join the RCL. At that time, I was bullied at school. I was new in high school, and I was bullied because of something that had happened in secondary school. So I actually had like a lot of problems focusing. But this one teacher saw potential in me, and she was like, because she was my English teacher, and she said, I think you should join the RCL committee. The, what do they call it again? The Representative Council of Learners, yes. And she helped me draft my speech, and I went there, did my speech, and even the people who were bullying me actually voted for me, and I was chosen as the secretary, right? And that's where most of the things started happening. That's where I started public speaking. That's where I started gaining my confidence, and yeah, I think she actually helped me to be confident in speaking in front of people. And also, when I was doing my matric, I remember Miss Mulomu introduced us to the Funza Lushaka Bazari. She always spoke about it. We used to call her Mem Bazari. She was our life orientation teacher, ne? And when she walked in, everyone will be like, Bazar. But actually, I think she sparked something in me, because she always told me that, Haibo, when I'm not here, you should be the one standing here. You are the leader. You are in the leadership, because I was in the RCL committee, right? So a lot of teachers will put a lot of pressure if teachers will put a lot of pressure on you when you are in the leadership committee. So I always needed to be straightforward. I always needed to be quiet in class. I always needed to be doing my schoolwork. So she would say, maybe if she was a bit late and then people are playing outside, she will say, "Hi Bo, let's all." And then I thought I left the class in your hands. You should be the one being in front here because you are the leader in this class. And yeah, fast forward to end of matric. Well, matric was 2016. I matriculated in 2016, and January 2017 I got my results and I had actually passed very well. I passed with 2 distinctions. I was aiming for 4, but we are grateful either way. And before that, a friend of mine had actually invited me to their church. At their church, they're helping people apply, and I'm not sure where my application started, because I had applied at the church, and later on my history teacher was taking his niece to the university, and I don't know where the conversation started, that I mentioned that, oh, I actually want to go also to university, because he always said I will be getting a history distinction. He was so confident in me and us. All of my classmates in matric were actually outstanding students. So he was very positive with our results, and yes, we did deliver. We all got, not all, but most of us got distinctions in history. And when he was taking his niece to the university, I also went along with them, and that's when I was able to process everything, all my documents, and submit everything. And question number 3. So what was university life like for you? Yo, okay, so varsity was not easy, right? But it was beautiful. It was nice. I went to Tshwane University of Technology. I chose TUT because it was near home, and also because I was able to access a lot of people who were actually at the university for information and, assistance here and there. And like I said, my mom was not working, and at that time when I finally got accepted at the university, I did not have money to register. The registration was 2.5, and yeah, we didn't have it at home. I called my paternal grandmother and also my maternal grandmother. They both decided that, okay, find someone to borrow you the money and we will pay them back. And at that time, I had a friend, a good friend, that actually borrowed me the money and I was able to register at the university, right? And because I did not have funding, I had applied for funding. I applied for Funza, and I also applied for NSFAS, but in the beginning I did not have any funding. They had not accepted my application. So I used Padco, if you know the Padco bus, from Soshanguve Jugulane, Block V, to Soshanguve Block H. So I used the Padco bus for close to 6 months of my first months in university. And remember, the Padco bus is one of the lowest buses, right? Not really maintained, and it was so difficult because I had to wake up early in the morning, even when my classes only started at 12, because the buses only operate in the early mornings, and it was the cheapest option. I think I paid 35 rands, if not 45 rands a week. So yeah, And I had no choice. I had no other option at the time. And yeah, I would travel. I could not afford the taxi, so I would travel by bus. Come winter, come summer when it was raining, because I traveled with the bus from January to August. Yeah, that's when I got my first allowance. Yes, so those were the trying times. At that time, I felt like life was so hard. I actually felt like everything was working against me, but now I realize that everything was working for me, right? Because it was teaching me perseverance. It was teaching me a lot about myself, because when I was standing in those buses, sometimes you don't have seats. It's so packed, you are standing, you are sweating, or it's raining and the rain is coming inside the bus. Like the roof of the bus has holes. And when those things were happening and I'm inside the bus, in my head, I would always say, this is not my life. No, I do not want this for myself. And that actually shaped me in so many ways, because I kept on reminding myself that this is not it. Sometimes I would go to school. Remember, my mom is not working. I'm not working. Everything is just not so good at the moment. I don't have my funding. And I would go to school I'll get to school around 8 a.m. up until, I remember my bus was around 5 p.m. if not 6. And maybe for that day I only had 2 classes. And I only had my bus ticket. I don't have any other cash on me. So sometimes I did not have much to eat at school, but I made a friend. I actually made a couple of friends who were actually staying at Res, and some outside the residence some were from KZN, some Pumalanga, and they would cook in their houses and we share the food. And so my friends would, share the food with me. And I remember this other time I missed my bus. I missed my bus because I was running a bit late, and buses don't wait for anyone. And that was the only bus. The bus was around 7 a.m. Yeah, I think 7 or 8 a.m. I'm not sure. I don't remember well. But I missed the bus and I attempted walking to school. That's how much I wanted this. That's how hungry I was for education. I attempted walking to campus, and one of my neighbors recognized me, and he actually gave me a lift, and he gave me 200 rands. This is a man that is highly respected in the community. He keeps to himself and his wife and his family. He's one person that doesn't really talk to people. He just greets and that's it. But that day he gave me a lift. He gave me 200 and he said to me, "Keep going, Wanak." He just gave me the money and said, "Keep going." I remember his exact word. He said to me, "Ska fela pelo ngwanaka. Tsamaya, ithute." And those are the people that actually gave me hope and made it possible. Because with that 200 rands, I was now having money for a whole month to buy my bus ticket and to also have some snacks at school. And of course, NSFAS came through for your girl, and now I was fully funded and I was given a room at the residence. How cool! And rest life was beautiful. My first roommate was also very nice. I joined the residence committee and now I was back in the leadership. Yes! That's me. And that made my experience a great one because now I knew the ins and outs at the campus. Now I was able to go to my classes on time. I did not have to wake up very early to do that. If I had a class at 12, I actually went to class. Like I was just walking to class. So that was very beautiful. And all my friends, most of my friends actually also stayed at the residence. So it was so beautiful, man. Everything started making sense. But you know, when things start making sense, then you start being out of order. For some reason, we started partying, and one way or the other, we started missing our tests, you know, but we always made sure that we get back to it. I had those friends where we actually set each other down and we were like, no, but now we're doing too much. Let's focus. Oh, now, no, we are missing the point. Let's, you know, and one of my lecturers, Mr. Pala, he was also my English lecturer. I don't know what's with my English teachers, but they are very fond of me. So he actually called me to his office. I had missed the submission time. I came late to submit, but he did not take it. And after some time, he called me to his office and he actually told me that I think you need to focus more. I know that varsity is nice. You are having fun, but remember where you come from. Mind you, this person does not really know where I come from. Oh, well, I thought so, that he doesn't know, but he actually like sat me down and he was like, your family depends on you. Just try to focus. You will have fun. I know that varsity, you want to do everything at once, but make sure to prioritize your studies, and I will give you one more chance, but I will not be the one marking your assignment. I want you to stand in front of the whole class and explain to them why you were not able to submit on time and what is it that you're going to do to make sure that this does not happen again. And he gave me a topic. I don't remember the topic very well. And he said I should also present that topic and the class will score me. They will give me points. Yo. Mr. Palalena. Yo. Hey. So yeah, that was my varsity life. So the years went on and everything was great at the university. I then later decided to apply for a job within the university. I applied to be the student assistant. I qualified because I had served the university for a few years. So that's how you actually qualify for some of the jobs within the university. I was doing my final year and I got the job and I started working as student assistants. We used to work very late at night. We had working shifts. Sometimes you work during the day and sometimes you work in the evenings. And I had moved out of the residence. I had moved to another residence not too far from the university, because they were like newly built residences and we just all wanted to experience, you know, the nice residence out of the university. Yes, they were still funded by the by NSFAS, so it was okay. And yes, I had a great time working as a student assistant. I was making money. Like, I remember my first salary, it was around 5,000. Like, it was so exciting. It was so exciting to actually have money of my own, besides the money from NSFAS, right? But something crazy happened in 2020. 2020 was wild. It was December and I was kidnapped. I was literally kidnapped in front of the gate, like right at the university's gate. So how this happened was that after work, after we were done at the library and at the lab, because as a student assistant you work at the lab and also the library, I was with my colleague. We worked together and we also stayed at the same residence, and I've known her for some years as we were studying together throughout the years. And we went out around 8 p.m. We were done working, our shift was done, and luckily the manager knew that we stayed at the same residence and he would like make our schedules a bit similar. Like, most of the time we had the same working hours, so we were able to travel together. So normally we would travel by Uber, but that night we could not request. I'm not sure if the network was low but there were no taxis. And remember, it's December, the schools are closing. I remember it was December 17th. Yes, 2020. I will never forget this day. And as we are standing there trying to request, the securities are there. We are just right at the gate of the campus. As we are requesting, we actually like just talking to the security guys. They're like, "Hi, girls, we'll see you guys next year. Is this your last day also?" And we're like, yeah. We are very excited. And my colleague was having a few gifts. I think it was her birthday a few days before or the day before, I don't remember well. And she had gifts from people, from her friends. And we're like, yeah, we are actually going to celebrate. It's the last day of school, last day of work, and we are doing our final year, meaning that the next year we will be graduating. So we are actually excited. Little did we know. We stood there trying to request and we are not getting any Uber. A taxi passes us, so it's going the other direction. We are going this direction and it's going the other direction. And then they start hooting. And as they are hooting, they make a U-turn. When they make a U-turn, they're asking us, "Where are you guys going?" And we like, "Block VV." They're like, "Oh, sure, get inside." Wabo? And we, I don't know, it didn't click to me or to us that Haibo, this taxi just made a U-turn. We like, it's normal, it's not that late, and it was raining that day, so we actually wanted to get home. All right, sharp, we get inside the taxi. There's 3 guys and 1 girl. Abo? And one girl. Was there someone else? Yeah, and then there was someone else, I remember. There was someone else. That person went off at, like, maybe after 5 stops, they got off. And when they got off, like, something in me was uncomfortable. I don't know why. I don't know how. Because everyone was so quiet in that taxi. Like, it was so quiet. And as I'm also like trying to converse with my colleague, it was just so weird. Everyone was just so quiet. But then when we got to short left, the girl also went off. And immediately as she went off and closed the door, I just saw a gun in my face. Yo. And then I just hear, yeah, tack, 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 tack. Highball, and it's raining, it's dim. I think the windows were also a bit dark, you know. We are inside this taxi now. It's just the two of us and the three guys. Two in front and one like at the just near the door. Yeah, bo. And then I'm just like, hi, bo, what's going on? At that time we are all so scared, you know. But I was so numb, like I could not scream or anything. I was so shocked. I was so scared. I was so scared. I remember I just kept on praying and praying. And they drove with us for like a good 2 hours, if not 3. And yeah, that experience really traumatized me. It traumatized me. They took our thumbs to open our phones and started withdrawing, went to the ATM. They were busy touching us. It was just so scary. It was so scary. And for some reason, they started fighting. They actually thought both of us were not from Soshanguve because my colleague speaks Sindebele, and she kept on talking to them, you know, like asking for help. No, it's not help, but asking to be released, you know, that, oh, you can take all the money and, you know, just please let us go. But I was so numb, like I was not saying anything. I was just so quiet. I was just still. I was praying. I was just like, what do I do? Like I had no energy. I had no strength to fight. I was just praying. Yeah, that was all. And then by God's grace, they started fighting amongst themselves, like talking things like, no, we're not raping these kids. These kids are, you know, actually students, and people are gonna be looking for them, and their families and all that. Like they were talking a whole lot of things that was scary. Like I was so scared. And one of them came and opened the door, and then he was like, just go out. And then we ran for our lives. Gone. We ran, and that's how we were rescued. Went to the police station. The case did not go anywhere. We had nothing left. They took everything. I called my mom. Luckily, my sister was in Pretoria at that time, and they came to pick us up. Remember, she's from Ndebele, so she had no one. So we all went to my house. The guys actually thought we did not know Soshanguve. We are not from there. But luckily, I could see where we were at. We were very far from the university, but not far from my house. Like, it was like these people were actually taking me to my area. I can't believe I'm laughing. I can't believe I'm laughing at this because the way I was so traumatized, guys. This almost cost me my degree. My family actually had to take a trip to Kwakwa, to my great parents' house. We just had to go through so much therapy. Like we had to go through so much healing, you know, both at church, traditionally, and also professionally. Like I went through all the stages of counseling, right? Because I was so traumatized. It was just for 2 or 3 hours. They were driving around with us, but yo, I was not okay. And January, I had to do my practicals. And for some reason, because of the trauma, I could not stand in front of the kids. I was always scared. We actually decided to do our practicals together with my colleague again, because we just wanted to be able to work together. So we also went through the healing journey together. Yeah, our family were very supportive. Her mom was very supportive. Her mom is actually a police officer herself, and she was very, very mad about this. But yeah, we supported each other, tried to do our files together, because in your final year you have to do your files, you have to do your teaching profile. And yeah, I was very fragile at the time. I got scared by a lot of things, like anything small, and that almost costed me my degree. But luckily the university was aware of our situation, and they were very supportive, and they also provided us with some counseling. And yes, they made sure that we do not stay behind because of what has happened to us. And that takes us to question number 5. So after graduation, did you find a teaching job easily? I know a lot of people say that you should study education because it's so easy to get a job in teaching. They are always looking for teachers, and that used to be true, hey? That used to be true, but not anymore. I wish it was that easy, but not anymore, hey? It was tough. Luckily for me, I was one of the lucky ones. After graduation, I think 10 days after graduation, I actually got a job at my nearby schools at Homoso Comprehensive School. I am very much grateful for the opportunity, especially to the principal. That man gave me a chance. He was like, girl, I am supposed to be hiring from the department, from the database, but because you are just from here. He was so impressed. He's like, girl, you are one of us, because I studied at the nearby school. So he also knew the principal from that school, and I also told him about my history teacher and my life orientation teacher. Like, we were just talking as I was giving him my CV, right? Because I begged the receptionist that I need to see the principal. I went there for 3 days, and finally they allowed me to see him and give him my CV on hand. And I sold myself. I got in there and I was like, hi sir, my name is Noel Solo. I'm a newly qualified teacher, and I'll be coming here very early because I just stay right here. I'm not far, blah 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 blah. I'm very good at this. Yeah, so he was so impressed. He's like, hey Mo, we have a graduate, we have a teacher in Jubilee. We graduate from here, from our works. And he was like, no girl, let's submit everything of yours. Give me everything, give me your results. He saw my results and he's like, girl, you qualify. You qualify for this post. It was a substitute post for life orientation. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I am qualified, or I specialize in computer applications, technology, mathematical literacy, and life orientation. So I was a perfect match. I saw, this post, I think it was given by someone who was working at the school. I don't remember well. How did I know of the post? Yes, I was given by a source. It's either someone that knows someone from the school, but it was a tip off. But the principal was so nice to actually say, no, let's apply, and then if they approve it, we are taking you and don't really need to go the database way. And then he was like, but before, just log in your details in the database in case they want to check you. And I had already done that before applying, before going to the school. I had already done that prior. So I showed him that, actually I'm in the database and this is my number, and yeah, that's how I got the job. but the post was only for 6 months, and after 6 months I was left unemployed. I was unemployed for a good 3 months. It was the worst time of my life. Ooh, it was draining. It was draining. And so I worked for 6 months, right? But the first 6 months of working as a substitute, I was not earning. So I got paid later, like in the beginning of the other 3 months. So it was, the first months of working, they were horrible. I will not lie to you. It was horrible. I remember borrowing my mom's clothes to go to work. Because I can at varsity, I was wearing shorts, I was wearing crop tops. So I had no clothes to go to work. No clothes. I had to borrow my mom's clothes, and I had started gaining weight. Most of my clothes were not fitting. It was just a whole lot going on. We were struggling to get me to work because it was one taxi away and I could not take the bus. I was like, I was not going to be taking the bus, not again. But luckily there was a teacher who was passing by my house going to the same school. She was actually, oh my goodness, God is great. She was actually my cat lecturer at university. And she was a junior lecturer at the university, and she had moved to the high school now to teach computer. And it was so beautiful because now we are colleagues. And at varsity, I was, one of the kids that were very helpful in class because I was also in the leadership, and we actually had a relationship. So now, as she saw that, Noah's at the school, now she offered to give me a ride to work every morning, and I now did not have to worry about getting to work. I just had to worry about lunchbox. So those were the trying times also, those were the difficult times of starting work. I think a lot of people go through that, but I was paid and I had some savings. Even when I was no longer working, I was now able to go to Limpopo to do door-to-doors. I started in Gauteng. I went from school to school doing door-to-doors, and unfortunately I did not get anything. I decided to go to Limpopo. I also did the same, and unfortunately I did not get anything again. I was frustrated. I was not okay. But I then sat down and I wrote on LinkedIn, and I was like, hello, my name is, I have this and this and this, and I am looking for this and this and this. And luckily someone recommended me to their manager, and that's how I got to work for UCT Online High School under Valencia Institute, and I worked there as a learning designer. Top notch. That was the most difficult job I've ever done in my life, but that was the most fulfilling job also. Guys, I was within. I was getting deliveries, delivering big screens. I was the girl that I think that I am. Imagine a mouse, headsets, built-in screen. What was the brand of their laptops? Everything delivered to me. It was so nice. Hey, I learned a lot. That's where I learned how to design. That's where I learned a lot of technologies. And that's where I learned about a lot of educational theories and learning design models. And I learned how to write and how to translate because we were using the CAPS curriculum. So the job was remote, it was flexible. I was working full time from home. So I had Wi-Fi, all the screens, mic, I had all these fancy things. And I also had my little office. So yeah, everything was so great. The job was very difficult, but it kept me afloat. It really helped me financially and professionally. It helped me grow as a teacher because I was actually doing a lot of research. I was going through the curriculum, the CAPS curriculum, a lot more than I was when I was a teacher, because now I am designing a whole curriculum, right, that will now be fit for students that are studying online. So we are using the national CAPS curriculum, but we were just making it a bit easier for the students studying online, right? And yeah, the job actually awarded me the time and the space to start my journey of teaching abroad. And that takes us to question number 6. Speaking of abroad, how did Korea come into the picture? So during COVID, I had the time to do my research and I was able to do my TESOL certificate. I know a lot of people say you don't need it if you have a teaching degree, but I just wanted to familiarize myself with the ESL curriculum because I need to study something to be confident in it, right? And yeah, I eventually came to Korea. I got here through a hagwon, but later on I realized that kindergarten is not for me, and I switched to a public school, which is a elementary school. And yeah, I love it here at my current school. That's where I am right now. I have signed my second contract with the school, and I'm hoping to stay maybe for the third contract. I don't know. And yeah, I love it. I love it. Now, question number 7. Yo, is this a question actually? I don't know where to start. Is this a question? I don't know. But before coming to Korea, in 2022, I had something that almost blocked me from coming here. Yeah, that almost made it impossible for me to come teach abroad or maybe even teach again in my life. It almost destroyed my career before it started. So in 2022, I was arrested. Yeah. I was arrested and I spent one night in jail. I was I was at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person in the wrong situation. Yeah. Ooh. But yeah, that's a story for another day. So I was arrested and we managed to fix the misunderstanding and we were taken to court the next day. And yeah, that's how the case was dropped, or the charges were dropped, and for some reason I did not get I was not I yo this story is heavy. This story is heavy. I don't want to lie. But anyway, I will tell the full story one day if you are interested. But then luckily the charges were dropped, and I had to now go and redo my police clearance, because the first police clearance came back with that stain that you have a criminal record. And then I had to redo it. They told me that no, actually, because the charges were dropped, you will actually just need to redo it and it won't show. So I did. And it's so crazy because the same police station that I was doing my fingerprints the first time was the same police station that I was now arrested at. MOTHO. Moto. Hey. Oh, that child almost ruined my life. But it's Quinchana. Let's go to question number 8. What's your advice to other teachers, students, or even unemployed graduates? So if you are studying education, please take it seriously. I know a lot of people will tell you education is easy or education is boring. No. This is the most fulfilling career that you can actually do. Besides that, you can do so many things with your teaching degree, right? You can go to so many other professions. You can be a writer, you can be a facilitator, you can do so much. So if you are already studying it, don't, and I'm telling you this, I want to be firm when I say this, do not drop on your second, third year or fourth year saying education is not for you. Just get the degree. You are almost there. Just get the degree and you'll figure yourself out. Okay? Thank you. And if you are a graduate that is struggling, if you have a degree in any field, a degree, right? If you have a degree in any field and you are from the 7 English-speaking countries, please just take this leap of faith. Try going abroad. There are so many countries that you can try out. You might like it. You might even do it for a year or 2. You don't need to stay longer if you don't like it, but just try it and you will thank yourself. Trust and believe. Who knows? Maybe you might even fall in love. Maybe actually teaching is your calling. And to the ones who are stuck in a bad school, to the people who are already abroad, I want you to know that you are not trapped. You have rights. Just make sure that you are humble enough and you are flexible. You have rights, okay? You did not come to the country illegally. I hope you did not. So make sure that you finish your contract, and if you're not happy, you can switch to another school or to another country. All right? And to the kids from the hood like me, you can take me out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of me. So, to the ones from the hood, Banabakasi, from the townships, Banaba Juleni, Soshanguve, Gomora, Alex, Soweto, you name it, Katlehong, you name it, if you are from those streets that are deemed to be worthless, let me tell you something. Not even the sky is the limit. You hear me? You can make it. Your dreams are valid. Make sure that you push. Make sure that you study hard. Education is still and will always be the key to success. Whew. That was a lot, ne? That's my story. I know it's a bit messy, crazy, wonderful, beautiful, but it's my story. And what's your story? Our stories are proof that our past does not define us. Thank you so much for listening to the very first episode of the Teachers Podcast, and we would love to have you here again on the next episode, where we will be now talking to one of our guests. We will be posting every second week, so make sure that you stay tuned. Make sure that you like the video. Make sure that you press the notification button. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, we will see you in the next episode. And if you are a teacher and you would like to share your story with us, please reach out. And if we reach out to you, please kindly say yes. Until next time, stay teaching, stay dreaming, and stay winning. Remember, this is The Right Space with Teacher Neo. See you in the next adventure.